Welcome back to Coin Quest, where we dive deep into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. If you're a coin collector or just someone who found an old penny in a drawer and wondered, could this be worth something? Then you're in the right place. Today, we're going to explore one of the most interesting coins from American numismatic history, the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny. This 1-cent coin might look ordinary at first glance, but some versions of this coin are worth far more than 1 cent today. In fact, depending on the condition and rarity, some 1937 wheat pennies can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's collector market. Let's dive in. History of the Lincoln wheat PENNY. To understand the 1937 wheat penny, we need to take a quick look at the Lincoln cent series as a whole. The Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first regular issue American coin to feature a real person's portrait. The reverse design, with 2 wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent, is why it's commonly referred to as the wheat penny. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse of the coin remained largely the same, with only minor adjustments. After 1959, the wheat design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design, and later by the shield reverse we see today. The 1937 wheat penny belongs to that classic era of American coinage and carries with it a deep sense of nostalgia and historical value. The 1937 wheat penny. Basic details now. Let's get into the specifics of the 1937 wheat penny. This coin was minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, with a D mint mark; San Francisco, with an S mint mark. In total, over 309 million Lincoln cents were produced in 1937. Of these, more than 309 million came from the Philadelphia Mint, around 50 million came from Denver, and a little more than 34 million from San Francisco. Because of these high mintages, most 1937 wheat pennies are considered common in circulated condition. But as always in the world of coin collecting, condition, rarity, and specific details can make a massive difference in value. Coin design. FATURES. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, you'll find the bust of President Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head are the words, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word, "Liberty," and to the right, the year, 1937. On the reverse side of the coin, the central text reads, 1 cent, and United States of America, flanked by 2 stalks of wheat. Above it reads, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. The design remained the same across all mint locations in 1937, but subtle differences in strike quality and die work can make some examples far more desirable to collectors. Rare varieties and ERRRS. Now here's where things get interesting. Most people assume that a coin from 1937 is too common to be valuable. But there are some rare varieties and error coins from that year that are worth a small fortune. One of the most sought-after types is the double die obverse. This is where the design elements, like the date, letters, or Lincoln's profile, appear double due to a misalignment during the minting process. Although double die varieties are more famously known in the 1955 and 1972 Lincoln cents, there are also known double die obverse for the 1937 wheat penny. These are very scarce, and their value can skyrocket depending on how dramatic the doubling is and the overall condition of the coin. Other errors to watch for include off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets. Any unusual variation can increase a coin's value significantly if authenticated by a grading service. Grading and condition. YITMATTRS. The number one factor that affects a coin's value, aside from rarity, is its condition. Coins are typically graded on a 70-point scale. A coin graded MS60 or higher is considered mint state, meaning it was never circulated and still has its original luster. An MS65 or MS67 1937 wheat penny can fetch impressive prices at auction or from collectors. On the other hand, a heavily worn example that's been through decades of circulation might only be worth its face value, 1 cent, or maybe a few cents if sold in bulk. That's why professional grading, through services like PCGS or NGC, can make a huge difference in what you can get for your coin. Current market values. June 2025. Let's talk numbers. As of June 2025, here are the average current values. For a 1937 wheat penny, based on condition and mint mark, Philadelphia, no mint mark circulated, fine to VF 5 to 25 cents uncirculated, MS60 to MS65 $5 to $1.45 MS67 or higher. Can sell for over $2501937D. Denver circulated, 10 to 40 cents uncirculated, $10 to $1.70 MS67 examples, around $300 or more 1937s. San Francisco circulated, 15 to 50 cents uncirculated, $15 to $1.90 high-grade specimens, can reach $500 or even more if red coloration is preserved. Error coins or rare varieties, depending on the type of error and grade, these can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars. A dramatic double die-obverse in MS64 condition could easily exceed $1,000 or more at auction. What to look for in your coin? So, you might be wondering, how do I know if my 1937 penny is valuable? Here are a few things to look for. Check the mint mark. Is there a D or S below the date? These can be slightly more valuable than Philadelphia mint coins. Inspect for errors. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. Look closely at the lettering, date, and edges. Observe the color. Coins that retain their original red copper shine are worth more than brown or dark-colored examples. Get it graded. If you think you have a rare or high-quality coin, send it to a professional grading service. It can drastically increase your chances of selling it for top dollar. Where to sell or buy? If you're looking to sell a 1937 wheat penny, there are several great options. Online marketplaces like eBay or Etsy, coin shows and collector conventions, local coin shops, auction houses for high-end examples, and if you're looking to buy a valuable 1937 wheat penny for your collection, be sure to verify authenticity and check for third-party grading before spending big money. CONCLUSION. The 1937 wheat penny is a perfect example of how something so small, something that passed through countless hands nearly a century ago, can hold significant historical and monetary value today. Whether you found one in a coin jar or inherited a collection from a relative, it's always worth taking a closer look. Who knows? You might just be holding onto a hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content about rare coins and collectible currency. Thanks for watching, and remember, always check your change. Today we're diving deep into the story of the 1942 wheat penny. This seemingly ordinary coin is anything but. From its rich historical background to its surprising value in today's coin market, the 1942 wheat penny may just be sitting unnoticed in your change jar, waiting to reveal its worth. So let's explore the details and discover why this 1-cent coin is turning heads in the collecting world. First, let's take a step back in time. The year was 1942. The United States was fully engaged in World War II. Everything in the country, from factories to raw materials, was being redirected to support the war effort. Steel, copper, nickel, and even rubber were considered strategic resources. It's during this time that the humble penny began to play a surprising role in America's wartime economy. In 1942, the U.S. Mint still used copper to produce the Lincoln cent. However, due to increasing demand for copper in the manufacturing of ammunition and military equipment, the Mint was already planning to reduce copper usage. By 1943, they switched to making pennies from zinc-coated steel. But in 1942, the classic wheat penny design was still struck in its traditional bronze alloy, made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The coin's design features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, with the words, "In God We Trust," at the top, Liberty, to the left, and the date 1942 to the right of Lincoln's profile. On the reverse, you'll find two wheat ears curved inward with the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, boldly struck in the center, topped by the Latin motto, E pluribus unum. This classic wheat design was in use from 1909 to 1958 and is beloved by collectors worldwide. Now let's talk mintage. In total, over 950 million 1942 pennies were produced across 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, struck the largest number, at over 657 million coins. Denver, marked with a small d beneath the date, minted just over 206 million. San Francisco, marked with an S, minted just under 86 million. Because these coins were mass-produced, most of them were circulated and show significant wear. However, as with any coin, condition is everything. In the coin collecting world, condition is judged by a system called the Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor at a grade of 1 all the way up to mint state 70. Most 1942 wheat pennies you'll find in circulation today are in low to mid grades, from good to fine condition. In these conditions, the coins typically sell for between 5 and 25 cents each. But the real value starts to show when we look at coins in higher grades. Uncirculated examples of the 1942 penny can sell for several dollars, with high mint state grades like MS-65 or better commanding even higher prices. In recent years, pristine examples graded by PCGS or NGC have sold for as much as $40 to $80 depending on demand. But here's where things get really interesting. While the regular 1942 wheat penny is common, there are rare varieties and errors that are worth serious money. One such variety is the 1942 D/D repunched mint mark. In this variety, the Denver mint mark was stamped more than once and slightly misaligned. If you find this variety in good condition, it could be worth anywhere from $50 to several hundred depending on the grade. Another error to watch for is the 1942 double die obverse. In this type, the date and lettering show clear signs of doubling under magnification. These coins are extremely rare and highly prized. A double die 1942 penny in uncirculated condition can easily reach prices of over $500. Even rarer are transitional error coins. These are coins struck on planchets from a different year. For example, if a few leftover bronze planchets from 1942 were mistakenly used in 1943, when the mint switched to steel cents, you might have a transitional error. A genuine 1943 bronze penny is considered the holy grail of Lincoln cents, and can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. While the 1942 penny doesn't have a famous error of that level, it's always a good idea to weigh and examine your coins carefully. Any 1942 penny that seems too light or too heavy, or that has unusual coloring, could potentially be a valuable mint error. So what is your 1942 penny worth today? In circulated condition, it may only be worth a few cents above face value. But if you've got a clean example with original luster and no signs of wear, you might be looking at a coin worth $10, $20, or even $50 or more. And if it's a rare error or variety, you could be holding a small fortune in your palm. Collectors today are more passionate than ever about Lincoln cents, and values continue to climb. Auction prices for high-grade examples are steadily rising. So if you've got a 1942 wheat penny, especially from the Denver or San Francisco mints, take a closer look. And if you find something that looks unusual, get it graded by a professional service. It could be the start of an incredible collecting journey or a surprise financial reward. Before we wrap up, here's a quick checklist to see if your 1942 penny might be worth more than face value. 1. Does it have a D or S mint mark? 2. Is it in high-grade condition with sharp details and full original color? 3. Does it have any visible doubling misstruck mint marks or strange features? If the answer to any of those is yes, congratulations. You may be holding a piece of numismatic history. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, and subscribe for more content on rare coins, coin values, and the stories behind America's currency. Drop a comment below if you have a 1942 wheat penny or want help identifying your coin. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking your change. In today's deep dive, we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating and affordable coins in American numismatics, the 1951 wheat penny. Also known as the Lincoln 1-cent coin from the wheat reverse era, this copper beauty may look like pocket change to the untrained eye, but in certain cases, it can be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might be checking your old coin jar for one of these potentially valuable pieces of history. Let's begin with some background. The 1951 wheat penny was minted as part of the Lincoln cent series. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, this design, by Victor David Brenner, became the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. The reverse of the coin, featuring 2 wheat ears curving along the edges, symbolized national prosperity and became the standard design until 1958. Now, specifically for the year 1951, there were 3 main mint locations where the Lincoln wheat penny was produced. These were Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these mints produced a large number of pennies, and each has its own mintage numbers and potential value range, depending on condition, mint mark, and other factors like errors. Let's start with the Philadelphia mint. Coins minted in Philadelphia in 1951 do not have a mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 284 million of these pennies, making them fairly common in circulated condition. However, when found in higher grades such as Mint State 65 and above, the value increases. In pristine condition with full red coloring, a 1951 Philadelphia wheat penny can sell for several dollars, and in some cases, if graded superbly by a top coin grading service, it could fetch much more from a serious collector. Moving on to the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint coins are identified by a small D under the date. In 1951, the Denver Mint struck over 625 million Lincoln cents, making it the highest mintage of that year among the 3 mints. That means these are quite common as well in lower grades, but don't be discouraged. If you find a 1951 D penny in brilliant uncirculated condition with strong luster and original red toning, it could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to potentially over $100 if graded exceptionally high. Now let's talk about the San Francisco Mint. The San Francisco Mint marked its coins with an S under the date. In 1951, San Francisco struck a little over 136 million pennies. These coins are slightly less common than the Denver or Philadelphia issues, and again, the value largely depends on the coin's condition. Circulated examples are usually worth a few cents, but uncirculated red specimens can range from $10 to over $100, especially in top grades certified by grading services. Let's pause for a second to talk about what affects a coin's value. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, where a 1 is barely identifiable and a 70 is a perfect, flawless coin. Coins in grades of 60 or above are considered mint state. A red 1951 penny graded mint state 67 by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC can be worth hundreds of dollars or more at auction. Even more if the coin has full original color and no carbon spots or blemishes. Now here is where it gets really exciting. Error coins. The 1951 wheat penny, like many coins from the mid-20th century, has its share of minting errors. Some of these errors can add significant value. For example, a double die obverse, where the lettering or date appears doubled, can dramatically raise the value of a coin. Other errors include off-center strikes, repunchment marks, and die cracks. Some of these error coins have sold for several hundred or even thousands of dollars, depending on the error and overall condition of the coin. So, if you come across a 1951 wheat penny that looks a little strange, it's worth having it examined. Even slight errors or varieties can appeal to collectors. Now let's talk current market trends. As of now, in 2025, the market for classic coins remains strong, especially for wheat pennies. While most 1951 pennies in circulated condition are only worth 2 to 5 cents, coins with original red color and high grades regularly sell in the $20 to $50 range. Exceptionally high-grade pieces have reached prices over $200. And rare errors or varieties can still command impressive prices at auction, particularly when featured in popular auction houses or online platforms like heritage auctions or great collections. And remember, the value of a coin is not just in the metal content. It's in the demand, condition, rarity, and collector interest. The nostalgia factor also plays a role. Many people enjoy collecting wheat pennies because they remind them of a different time in American history, when copper coins were made of nearly pure copper and pocket change had a certain charm. So to wrap up, let's do a quick summary. The 1951 wheat penny is a beautiful and historic piece of American currency. It was produced in large numbers by 3 mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While most are common in circulated condition, coins in uncirculated condition with full red coloring can be worth a significant amount. Add in errors or varieties, and you might just have a coin that's worth much more than 1 cent. Take the time to look at your coin collection. Examine those old wheat pennies closely. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. If you find a coin that looks promising, consider getting it professionally graded. The cost might be worth it if you end up with a rare gem. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new about the 1951 wheat penny, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth videos on coins, history, and collecting tips. Leave a comment down below if you have a 1951 penny or any rare coin stories to share. Until next time, keep collecting and happy hunting.